How does one kill an invincible angel? In today's episode of the StoryPod podcast. Come on in, bestie. Welcome to StoryPod, where we do the doing of story development together. Brought to you by Creative BFF. Well, hello, friend. Listen, Linda. Please forgive me for ghosting you last week. Sorry, I'm moving things around on my screen. Please forgive me for ghosting you last week. Before I get into my apologies, though, my name is Ashley. I am your creative BFF. This is the StoryPod podcast in which we practice various storytelling things so that when we get into writing our own story, the juices are flowing, the mind is verdant, fruitful, bursting with ideas ready to go. So that is what we're going to do. As I was saying, I apologize for ghosting you last week and not even leaving a message like I usually do. If I have to miss a video, I had how do I even phrase it? One of my clients had a presentation that they needed to do. And so I pushed a lot of things aside so that I could try to help push that presentation forward. And now we're back. Okay. So today we're going to do a channel fave, which is answering a Reddit question. And, I should probably tell you, if you'd like to reach me, call me, beat me. If you want to reach me at the links below. Okay. It includes such links as my website, if you'd like coaching, or if you'd like to contact through websites. It includes Instagram links, which would be great if you had a question that you would like me to answer here on this podcast for your story. You can send me a message, a DM, as it were, through Instagram. My email is also down below if you'd like to email me. But listen, shoot me a message on Instagram. That's where we are now these days, right? That's where the kids congregate. Okay. So anyway, back to what we're doing today. We're going to try to get the after work brain going. So please feel free to put your answers below, especially if you have some better answers than what I am going to come up with for this particular question. I would love to see what you have going on in that beautiful brain of yours regarding how to answer this question. Anyway, let's move right along. So here is the question from the r/fantasy writers subreddit by awkward astronomer 44. How would you hurt/kill an angel? So for my world, I have very specific rules for celestials/angels. True angels were made early in history by the gods and have a set number. The gods can't make more. I also want them to be super powerful, primarily by being entirely invulnerable. If you were God, why make your servants anything other than invincible? There are ways to trap them, of course, but I'm searching for something that could hurt them, something that can kill them, pierce their divine flesh, and make them feel a pain they've never understood. I want it to be something rare enough that angels would be generally considered unstoppable, but perhaps not entirely unique to only one or two specific objects. There were only a few thousand angels created, and they've gone to war against demons, mortals, and even each other many times. So I'm trying to figure out I'm trying to figure out something that would allow them to still be around in considerable numbers thousands of years later. I've considered flaming swords, frost swords, special steel built of an alloy of iron and metal from a moon that repels gods forged in the blood of gods, but I'm curious what others might advise. There are also other celestials in my world, not angels, but magically created creatures of the divine. Bonus question, how would you define a celestial? I've considered as well the idea that upon an angel/celestial's death on the mortal world, it retreats to the plane of its origin and reforms there, so I'm wondering how to scale things. Is the great weakness something that can hurt them at all, or something that bypasses their ability to retreat and recover and instantly kill them? Any ideas? Okay, so as is sometimes a common refrain on this channel, additional detail would be great to really be able to kind of pinpoint some ideas for this. I do have a couple of ideas, and they may not 100% meet the requirements, and they may require more understanding of the lore that this asker has developed to this point, but I'm going to provide them anyway. And you, as always, please, let's brainstorm this together. Put your answers down below, what you would do. So some initial ideas that I would go, I would imagine, here's my train of thought. I would imagine that now, again, we don't know what the pantheon of gods currently are in the story in present day. Are they the same gods, the primordial, whatever gods that created everything and at the very beginning? Or is this like kind of a new set of their descendants, down the line? Have the old gods gone into hibernation or retreated and left their children to kind of like run their creation? Like, we don't know kind of what's happening in the mythology of this world. But I would imagine that if I were a god and I was creating a servant that I wanted to be invulnerable, in most cases, I would not want them to be invulnerable to me as well. So I think that I would probably create, just in case they get out of hand. Okay, I would create a, what is that term? Not a fail-safe, but you know what I'm saying, right? I would create something that would be like a backup plan, like a just in case they want to get froggy. You know what I'm saying? And that could be a particular sword. I don't know that it needs to have, and maybe it's fun to kind of come up with this type of stuff. I don't know that it needs to have, if it's coming from the gods that created the angels, I don't know that it needs to have like crazy lore, like the writer put like blood from the moon that repels gods and all this kind of stuff. And it also, side note, this whole idea that they said, metal from a moon that repels gods, forged in the blood of gods. That makes me, side note, question, what is the mortality or the invulnerability or vulnerability of the gods that you've created? That there are things that can repel the gods. So if there is something that can repel gods, then it would make sense that that thing would also be able to repel angels. So that would be a very easy, go into your lore, go into your mythology, figure out what you have going on with your gods. Do they die? Can they be killed? And if so, then pull from whatever's able to kill them and make it the same for the angels. So that's a very easy situation. Going back to what I was saying, what I had started to say before I derailed myself a little bit, not really derailed, but kind of like went off on a little bunny trail. I think that it would make sense that the gods would create a specific weapon that could basically sever the silver cord of the angel's life or whatever have you, or pierce their flesh, as the author writes. And they just created the sword at the same time as they created the angel from similar or opposite material from what they created the angels from. There could also be a type of celestial that was created by the gods that is the only type of celestial, the only type of being that has the capability of actually coming up against the angels. And it could be something that was created after the angels, perhaps. It could be that the gods themselves, and we don't know anything about the characters that will be in the story. Will the angels themselves or an angel be the main character? Are we looking at mortals as the main character? Would a god be a main character? So we don't know kind of what is happening in the story, because there could very well have been another celestial, another type of being created by the gods or a god who perhaps saw maybe some folly in creating invulnerable beings that, that their brothers and sisters were doing, creating these angels. So they created a counterbalance. Could also be the one that created the weapons, right? But also could be, okay, my creation is going to be specifically able to come against these gods. And this could take the form of a type of being, right? Or, and it could be, but it could be that, there's a few of these types of beings, and the main characters have to find them, or maybe the main character is one of them, or perhaps it could be that, and I don't know if this is totally out of the direction that the author wants to go, could be that the only way that one can be imbued with power to defeat an angel is if they're blessed by the god that created the angel. It could be that the individual gods at the beginning of time that were creating the stuff, each god could have created a set number of angelic celestial children, and it's only the blessing of that particular god that would allow you to kill its child, or even another angel, perhaps, right? Now the question then becomes, why would that god or a god bless another being, another person, a mortal or whatever, whoever the main character is, in that way, in order to be able to kill the angels? Why do we need to kill the angels at all? Are they kind of getting out of hand? Are they kind of becoming too big for their britches? So these are, of course, questions that we don't know. Are they good guys or are they bad guys? So is this a power that some antagonistic forces are trying to find so that they can destroy the protagonistic angels who are on the side of the main characters, or who are the main characters? Let me see, anything else that I would say? I think I have one. Along the same lines of having to appeal to the god that created the particular angels that you want to kill. It could be that, depending on how vulnerable or invulnerable the gods are, if they're able to die or be killed in a way that is perhaps easier than it is to kill angels, if they specifically made the angels stronger and more resilient than themselves in order to act as protectors and soldiers and bodyguards for themselves. That we don't know if that's what is going to happen in the story, but if that was an element, then it could be that severing the connection in some way to the power source of the god that created the angels, or killing that god, or sending that god to another plane, thereby also effectively severing the power source or the ability of that god to affect, or to produce the angels' invulnerability. Kind of like, you could think of it like the god is forever casting like a shield spell and a bunch of buffs and all this kind of stuff from afar, remotely casting buffs on their particular angelic guard just all the time. And you would have to get to that god in order to be able to get to the angel, right? That's something that we see, a mechanic that we see in games quite a bit, right? So you got to take down the boss before you can get to the minions type of deal. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if there's anything else. I think that those would be my answers, trying to pull away from specifically like what the author has already said, and then them going into another realm, which could be just going back into the bosom of the god that created them. If their mortal body, whatever body they have to put on to be able to operate in the mortal world, gets destroyed, then they're immediately regenerated. So it could be that, where it's like, yeah, the body can be damaged, destroyed, whatever have you, but they immediately resurrect and regenerate, so then you have to really go to the source to stop that from happening. Find a way to stop that process from happening. And that could be having to do something about that God, or whatever way that God is connected spiritually, physically, metaphysically, magically, whatever, connected to the particular angel that you are fighting. Again, depending on whether the angel is protagonist or antagonist. So I think that is going to be where I'm going to stop. I'm not going to go on for an hour trying to figure out 50 million different possible answers. And I look forward to seeing what your answers might be. So let me know what you think, and have a wonderful weekend. Okay. Write something. Okay. Make some progress on a project that you have, whether it's writing, drawing, doing crochet, cleaning out your cabinet. But if you can do some writing, because if you're here, you're probably a creative in some way. Go ahead and do some writing this weekend. All right. Get some fresh air. All right. Do some push-ups. And I will see you next week, most likely, probably. Bye.